The Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame recognizes Ohio's distinguished men and women who have worn the uniform of our nation's armed forces and then continue to contribute to their communities, state, and nation through exceptional acts of volunteerism, advocacy, professional distinction, public service, and philanthropy. The Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame. Nominate a veteran today.
Scott Sullivan, Air Force, served in the 80s and 90s. I grew up in Houston, Texas. We moved around a little bit, but finally settled in Houston, Texas, and ended up not knowing anything about the military. And because I had pretty good grades in high school and I was a pretty good basketball player, I got recruited to play basketball at the Air Force Academy. And my parents had heard of the Air Force Academy. I had not. When Coach came to recruit me after a game, I said, no, thank you. Thanks for coming by, Coach, and that was it. But he found my parents. Next thing you know, I was flying to Colorado Springs, getting on a bus and being yelled at, wondering what the heck happened. Coach has changed, so I only played the first 2 years. I left my sophomore year knowing probably I wasn't going to the NBA. So senior year is when you get your orders, and they have what's called a dream sheet, and I put down a whole bunch of different bases for the career field that I was going into, which is going to be communications and computer systems, which is now like a cyber officer. I put down a whole bunch of different cities because I was a big city kid, and my order said Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Fairborn, Ohio. We didn't have computers yet. The class after us was the first year that got computers. So we went to an almanac to look up Fairborn, Ohio, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. I'd heard of Wright-Pat, but yeah, let this be a big city. And Fairborn had some very small population. Didn't say anything about Dayton or anything else. Your orders just say Fairborn. So I was a little disgruntled. It was wondering where I was going to go in the cornfields of Ohio, and as I was going down I-70 after graduation and went south on 75, I saw the Dayton skyline, and it was like I had hit the lottery. And that's how I started my career at Wright-Pat. Met my wife here. She is born and raised here, and then we left Wright-Patterson and was stationed at McClellan Air Force Base in California and at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. And then that's when I left the service and we came back to Dayton, Ohio. I was working here at Deloitte & Touche, downtown Dayton as a consultant, and was a little wet behind the ears in terms of private industry, which is very normal for people that have just left military service. Shortly after that, I had an opportunity to go work for Cisco Systems, and I had a communications computer background from the Air Force and did that and loved it for years and years, but still in the Department of Defense space, in the Air Force space, doing IT, built the internet for heaven's sakes, and that was all new in those days. So because of my background in the Air Force, I was able to do that for a number of years, and then I decided to go to the small business realm and did that for still doing it today. This last business that we're involved is in microelectronics, semiconductor chip manufacturing, which is very, very important from a national security standpoint, very, very important for the DoD, and working to support doing things better, cheaper, and faster in that realm too. As a veteran, I think when I came back to Dayton and I was out of uniform, again, you're surrounded by people that are passionate about the things that are going on at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and veterans initiatives and so forth. The one that I was probably most involved in was the Big Hoopla. When the NCAA First Four came here, there's all kinds of bolt-on events. Not only is it about tickets for men and women serving at Wright-Patterson to go to the games, but we also saw a need for something that the NCAA liked, and that's STEM education. It's humbling and almost a guilty feeling because you hear of, Ohio Veteran Hall of Fame, and I'm not disabled, I haven't been at the tip of the spear, I'm not necessarily worthy of this, is my initial feel. And that's why I really want to make it known that I've done nothing in isolation. In any active duty, professional world, everything, any accomplishments to date is always been a team sport surrounded by very smart, driven people that happen to share a lot of the same passions that I do. And that is supporting those people that have been in harm's way and doing things, better, cheaper, and faster. Like I said, that is critically important in terms of what we do in our way of serving.
Selection and induction into the Ohio Veterans Hall of Fame is a great honor. Nominate a veteran today